This is the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. We have an absolutely loaded show, and you don't want to miss a single second of what we're talking about today. Major 49ers news, major 49ers rumors. Let's get to it. Alex Mack officially retiring. Does that mean that JC Tretter, very good center, is going to be his replacement and sign with San Francisco in free agency? By all accounts, Trey Lance looking great and dazzling at 49ers OTAs. John Lynch speaking at the Dwight Legacy event saying, I'd be a fool to trade Deebo Samuel. He's going to be back in 2022, and I am going to introduce the Deebo dance. We're celebrating at the end of today's show. Make sure you stay tuned for all of it. But we start off with Frank Gore. He is signing a one-day contract with San Francisco on Thursday and officially calling it a career. The next stop for Frank Gore, it's going to be in Canton at the NFL Hall of Fame. Frank Gore had an illustrious, a legendary, a fantastic career with San Francisco that spanned about a decade, and he put forward one of the best careers among all running backs in the history of the National Football League. Career rushing leaders in the NFL. Frank Gore at third, behind the great Emmitt Smith. The fantastic Walter Payton sweetness. Frank Gore coming in at third. Barry Sanders, one of the most exciting players in the history of the NFL, at fourth. And Adrian Peterson there at five. When you think about Frank Gore, you think about a bruising running back, a guy who is so durable, consistently available for this football team, and played in so many big games for San Francisco. He is going to the Hall of Fame as one of the next great 49ers, and he's going to be rocking that Hall of Fame jacket. So to congratulate him on just a legendary career, one of the best running backs that we've ever seen, I want you all to type 2-1 in the comment section to show some love to a 49ers great. More retirement news, but this with a player who we actually didn't know about. We knew that Frank Gore was going to call it a career at some point. We did not know that that decision was coming from Alex Mack. The 7-time Pro Bowl center, according to Michael Silver, is retiring after 13 years. He played for the Browns, the Falcons, and in the 49ers for a single season last year, and was fantastic en route to leading San Francisco along that offensive line to the NFC Championship game. One of the top linemen of his era and a member of the 2010s All-Decade team. We did have an idea that a retirement could be taking place soon when we saw this tweet early this morning from Field Yates of ESPN. Anytime there's a contract restructure with a player who's older thinking about retiring, it usually means they're going to call it a career. That's what ended up happening with Alex Mack. So he agreed to a rework deal, which his base salary drops from $5 million to $1.12 this year, $3.35 million to a little north of $1 million next year. The Niners add now $4 million in cap space for now, though perhaps they might need to find another center soon. They do need to find another center, and I believe that next center is going to be JC Tretter, who we'll talk about here momentarily. As for Alex Mack, a great career. 2010's All-Decade team member, 7-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time second-team All-Pro, and he was also very, very durable in the trenches, consistently playing, always finding a way to avoid injuries. He played with Kyle Shanahan when Shanny was an assistant with the Cleveland Browns, when Shanahan was the OC with the Atlanta Falcons, and then he comes over to San Francisco and really did have a fantastic year in 2021. Now, it's going to be important for the 49ers to sign JC Tretter because this has been the first-string offensive line throughout 49ers OTAs so far. Colton McKivitz at left tackle. Trent Williams will be there, no worries. Aaron Banks, by all accounts, has slimmed down a little bit, turning some fat into muscle. He looks good at left guard, his normal and favorite position as compared to right guard. Jake Brendel is the backup center right now, and that's not going to cut it, nor is Donovan West, a 49ers UDFA out of Arizona State, or Jason Poe out of Mercer. That's why I think JC Tretter is so important. Jalen Moore might be the starting right guard, but could that be Daniel Brunskill? And then Justin Skule, coming off the torn ACL, filling in for Mike McGlinchey. What does this all mean for the San Francisco 49ers? Who are the 49ers going to replace Alex Mack with? I believe it's going to be JC Tretter who's going to make his way from Cleveland to the San Francisco 49ers. Get JC Tretter to the Bay Area. This guy is an excellent center. He's consistently available. He is among the best centers in the National Football League over the last several seasons. You take a look at his pass blocking rank among all centers in the NFL over the last couple of years. 2021, second. 2020, second. 2019, the same rank. In 2018, third among all centers. And his overall Pro Football Focus grade last year, 78.7. His pass blocking grade even better at nearly 84. Run block grade at 75, which is still 5 points above average. He played 1,039 snaps a year ago, only gave up 1 sack, and he's made 90 career starts and has played in more than 100 games in the NFL. When you think about the ideal and perfect replacement for Alex Mack, it is JC Tretter. 16 games played over the last 5 years. He's a heady football player who has a terrific football IQ, an Ivy Leaguer as he went to Cornell. He is the head of the NFL Players Association, so like Alex Mack, he is looked at as a leader in the locker room, and it should be of the utmost importance for this 49ers organization and front office to bring in JC Tretter so that he can hold it down and hold down the fort along that offensive line at the center spot where he's snapping it to Trey Lance every single play because of the inexperience of Lance. You have to be able to protect your young quarterback because if you don't, you run the risk of him getting injured, him missing games, and him losing his confidence if he's not able to get consistent reps as a green quarterback in this league. So for John Lynch, you got to go out there and sign JC Tretter. He is the perfect replacement for Alex Mack, and it's a move with JC Tretter being in his early 30s that fits the 49ers timeline of trying to win and compete for a Super Bowl right now, and Kyle Shanahan has always preferred veteran centers. Weston Richburg, Alex Mack. I think the next move will be JC Tretter. Now, here at Chat Sports, we hired Will Scott back a couple months ago, and he's done a fantastic job running our Dolphins Today channel, but he has been the leader of the JC Tretter to Miami campaign. Now, upon hearing the news of Alex Mack retiring, the Dolphins finding their own center in Connor Williams, and JC Tretter not going to Miami, Will Scott is in shambles. We're talking about a guy who's done legit celebrations about getting JC Tretter to Miami. So with that, I ask of you this, faithful. I want everybody watching right now to tweet Will Scott at WillScott44, welcome in the new guy here at Chat Sports, but also you have to use the hashtag JC2SF to stand for JC to San Francisco, because JC Tretter, he ain't signing with Miami any longer, and Will Scott, he's certainly depressed about that. Today's presenting sponsor, Callin. Now, of course, all of you right now are watching us on either YouTube or Rumble, but we have entered the podcasting fray, and after every one of our live shows on Tuesday, as now we're going live at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific moving forward, we've been going from our video platform to an audio-only platform in Callin, where you have the grand luxury to call into the show. We can chop it up. You can ask me any 49ers questions that you want, or spit your best 49ers opinions and hot takes. It's an awesome app that reminds you of Twitter Spaces, but it's even better where you have the opportunity to actually call into the show. So make sure you download the app and you subscribe today by going to chatsports.com/49erscallin. We'll be going live once a week moving forward, right after our live shows every single Tuesday, which air on YouTube and Rumble. To Trey Lance now. Let's do a check-in on Trey Lance from 49ers OTAs here. Word is for Trey Lance at OTAs that he's been looking great. On Wednesday, he went 6 of 10 in 11 on 11s. Really good completion percentage. He was assertive in the huddle, and he's been assertive in the huddle all throughout OTAs. More accurate slinging the football, and the arm motion is a little tighter. Now, a lot of people who have watched Trey Lance at OTAs, as the media has had an opportunity to watch him up close and personal a couple times, have said, I'm not sure that the mechanics look all that tighter. They don't look much different. But there was an analytical video out there that actually timed his arm delivery from last year to this year, and Trey Lance actually does have a tighter motion, which has lended itself to more accuracy and him being more precise with his throws, and also eliminating the wobble from his football that at times we saw last year, which I also think was a byproduct of him hurting that finger. He's also been turning heads within this coaching staff and on this roster. And for DeMeco Ryans to say this, I think it's really important. I think it's pretty telling. Now, the other day I tweeted out a clip about, hey, let's focus on what those who are around Trey Lance are actually saying about him as compared to the national media, because they don't have an opportunity to watch him day in and day out, and they really don't know much about Trey Lance as compared to his teammates and his coaches. And people had tweeted me back like, of course they're going to say nice things about the guy that's on their football team. But when the defensive coordinator, who is trying to set up his defense for the upcoming season, is complimentary of Trey Lance and saying, yeah, this guy wows us, this guy's performing really well, he's balling out, I do think that you can take stock in that. DeMeco Ryans on Trey saying this, I think Trey has done a great job. It is good to see him with his command and him running the offense, and he's zipping it past us a lot. He's making it tough on us. Trey's done a great job. It's good to see him just coming into his own role as a leader and being able to take control of the team. We're fired up for Trey and what he can do for us. As for what Jeff Wilson in the backfield said about Trey, he's growing up, he's maturing at a rapid pace, and it's every single day. It's not just since we came back to OTAs. He gets better every day with whatever he needs to do. He's been on top of his game. I think he's going to be a great player. Talanoa Hufanga, that dude in Trey, he can sling the rock, yo. I'll tell you that. What he can do on the football field is just outstanding. Now, of course, we're talking about OTAs here. We're talking about offseason activities. And yes, it's OTAs, but this is what you want to hear about a young second-year quarterback who's trying to make a monumental jump for a team that's ready to win a Super Bowl right now. By all accounts, Trey Lance is looking fantastic at OTAs. His completion percentage is up in the couple of practices that the media has been able to see. And keep in mind that he's throwing the football to a lot of backup players, and Brandon Ayuk is his number one wide receiver, and George Kittle and Trent Williams aren't even playing on the practice field. His mechanics are fine-tuned, cleaned up a little bit, and the motion is a little bit tighter. And when the defensive coordinator and fellow players are complimenting Trey and saying that he's doing a great job throughout OTAs, and they notice a sizable jump from last year to this year with his play, his mechanics, his mindset, and his confidence, that's really important. And that's a great development for this team that has the ability, has the talent to compete for a Super Bowl in the 2022 season. So if you're a believer in Trey Lance, I know there are a lot of you out there faithful. Stand up, show out, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video if you're excited about Trey and you're a believer in him as the future face of the franchise. To Deebo Samuel now. John Lynch speaking at the Dwight Clark Legacy event on Wednesday and said, I would be an idiot to trade away Deebo Samuel. We haven't traded him yet. He's going to be a 49er in 2022. Deebo Samuel's about to get paid, folks, and I think that he's about to secure the bag. John Lynch specifically, with what he said about Deebo, one of the most well-rounded, unique, special, and best weapons in the NFL, the best and most impactful player outside of quarterbacks in the NFC last year, in my opinion. John Lynch saying this, we haven't traded him, and I'd be a fool to trade him, so yes, Deebo will be a part of the 49ers this season. And I think that Deebo Samuel is about to get paid like one of the highest paid wide receivers in the National Football League. That'll put him in the average annual value basis with his year-per-year salary of about $25 to $30 million. With what John Lynch has said, I think it's safe to say that Deebo Samuel is coming back to San Francisco. The 49ers plan on giving him a contract extension. They're going to give him the bag to make him one of the highest paid non-quarterbacks in the National Football League. And from Deebo's perspective, this is too good of a marriage for a divorce. This is the perfect partnership with what Deebo brings to an offense and how Kyle Shanahan has utilized him as a wide back. One of the best wide receivers at picking up yards after the catch when he has the football thrown to him, and one of the most unique weapons in the NFL when he gets carries. There are a few coaches in the NFL who will be able to utilize Deebo Samuel over the next couple of years to continue to allow him to flourish, thrive, and be one of the best weapons in the NFL than Kyle Shanahan. So, Deebo Samuel, you're coming back. John Lynch wants to pay you. The 49ers organization loves you. Your teammates appreciate you. The fan base wants you back, and because of that, we're going to celebrate right here on the 49ers Report. Shout out to Petey. I watched his dog the other day, and he bought me this dope Deebo Samuel San Francisco 49ers jersey. And because Deebo is about to come back to the Bay and get paid, we're doing the Deebo Samuel dance. Deebo, 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 Deebo.